Hi, I'm John Stokdyk from AccountingWEB. I'm here at Xerocon in Battersea, London. This is day 2, and we've been spending the day visiting some of those vendors you've just seen. There's no actual Xero stand at Xerocon. All of the booths and all of the conversations you're seeing are taking part with add-on partners. And this is how we think accountancy software is going to evolve in the next few years in the cloud. Is you'll have basic engines, and then the most interesting stuff will be going on with the applications that hook into those engines, these add-ons. Now there's 40 vendors at Xerocon this week. That represents pretty much 10% of the Xero ecosystem, add-on ecosystem. So one of the difficulties facing not just AccountingWEB but our members is how do you map and find out what all these different software applications do? So that's what I've been doing at the event, and this video is our voyage into the world of add-ons to find out which are the significant ones and how do you go about finding the right combination of tools that fit the information flows of your clients.
So the concept of like what would previously have been called a kind of third-party developer, it's not a new concept. I mean, it's been around since Sage was kind of having links with software companies. But the nature of it is very different. It used to be, well, that's quite a convenient additional piece of functionality if I was in a vertical industry, that I would then connect that application with Sage or with Pegasus or whatever traditional products over there. But rather than it being a nice value add or optional extra, it's now becoming the norm. And I think businesses are expecting to spend £5, £10 a month, whatever, on other ancillary integrated solutions. And so the reality is this kind of cloud world that we're now in means that it's really easy to connect in all of these products that have been tried and tested on thousands of people. You're not the only person on it. It's not a unique bespoke version of code that only you have. So the simplicity of delivering over the cloud just makes that a really viable thing for small businesses to do.
At Xerocon there was an awards dinner where about 12 different awards were handed out, many to add-on partners, but also to the Partner of the Year. We got David from Valued Accountant, who's also part of our Practice Excellence program. Now, if there's anyone who probably knows their way around the add-on scene, David, I would imagine it's you. You're using, was it 40 plus different add-ons?
Peripherally, yes. I would say we use 30 to 35 on a regular basis, but we have had dialogues with many more than that. Certainly it's trying to sort the good from the not so good, you might say. But there's add-ons out there for every industry and every possible need, so everybody should be catered for by something.
Now, as I say, we can tell award-winning and have been picked out as a particularly sophisticated accountancy firm operating in this market. What kind of tips or advice would you pass on to your fellow practitioners about how to get their bearings on this scene and what's the best way in, perhaps?
I would certainly say speak to Xero. That is my first and the biggest tip I can give to any practice who hasn't really dipped their toe into the cloud network. Xero itself is full of advice, full of assistance. Certainly they will also be happy to pass on your details to the likes of ourselves. We can give you some free impartial advice. Again, we're not paid by Xero, even though we like them, so we will give you our own honest opinions. At the same time, don't be afraid to look around the wider community. There's a huge ecosystem out there. You're talking something like 390 add-on partners now. I mean, it's immense. So again, depending upon what you need internally or what your client base needs, have a look at that. Ask your clients what they're looking for. Again, go out there, speak to the add-on partners who fit that bill. See if there's a best fit.
So with so many different add-on vendors to choose from, how do you find out information about them? And how do you differentiate what they could do for you? Here's my advice, and advice from some of the people who've been there about what to look for, what to ask, and where these people are heading. Alex from CloudCo, we're at Xerocon, where we've been talking to a lot of add-on vendors for Xero. How did you first encounter the market and delve into it? What was your journey?
So initially when I started to look at Xero, I recognised that it has an open API, which means that lots of technology companies, cloud companies, can actually link with Xero. And I just found it really interesting because each and every add-on allows you to make the business run more efficiently. Without these add-ons, it's almost like you've got a bookkeeping platform, but you need these add-ons to do that extra step for you. So for me, it was quite crucial to learn about these add-ons and just find out exactly what they do, because every client I speak to, they're in different industries, and I need to know really what add-on I can recommend to my clients to help them grow their business.
And what tips would you give to fellow practitioners about finding out about these ones and assessing their merits?
What I would recommend is not to be scared of looking at these add-ons. I would actually try to find out a little bit about each one of them, have a look at their videos, look at the main ones like the payment streams, look at the inventory ones, maybe look at your client base and just see which industry they're in, and maybe just pick a few at a time and just try to learn a little bit about them, because that time that you invest in looking at them is actually going to save you time in the long run. So to me, it would just be more beneficial to just take a little bit of time just to look at them. They're definitely worth it. We
covered the sort of burgeoning add-on market recently on AccountingWEB, and that's really our mission at Xerocon, is partly to try and find out more about what all these different tools do. What advice would you give to British accountants about how you orient yourself to the landscape and begin to identify the apps that match your information needs and your clients' needs? Any advice you can help us with there?
Yeah, so first you have to define what you need in your business. So in general, accountants are really bad at stepping back from their business and taking the time to really assess the processes they have. So we spend all day giving advice to clients about things that they need to do in their business, and we don't look in our own homes and see how things need to operate more efficiently. So I would say first, you need to do your own audit of your business. Actually sit down, watch what people are doing, see where the duplicate data entry is, listen to your staff. They know where the problems are. So I do business planning with a lot of firms, and what's always interesting is we send this pre-survey result or pre-survey before the session, and there's questions on there of how the partners feel that the business is doing, and if they're creative enough, and their answers and the staff answers are diabolically different. So it's really important to get a real feel for what's going on in your business. Then once you've kind of assessed what the business processes look like, where are the key areas for improvement, then you can hone down to what add-ons you actually need in your business to help automate it. And many of the firms that I've worked with, they've identified there's probably 3 or 4 areas, whether they've decided in a vertical niche area or they want to be a virtual CFO and there's add-ons to help you with being a virtual CFO, or in order to just get the process right with small businesses, you need to automate the bill payment process or receiving payments and so forth. So I think if you take it on all at once, it's too much. So what you need to do is have a plan for the different things you need to do and replace one system at a time, test it, make sure it's working. You might find that there's other needs before you move on to the next system, but as you start creating those efficiencies, it will help you in understanding what you need to look for. The second thing I would say is you really need to come in prepared with your pain points. Don't let the sale from any software company lead you. So have a list of requirements. What are your priorities? What are the biggest pain points? What are your non-negotiables? So if the software does not have 1, 2, and 3, you can't select it, and know that walking in the conversation so you can get what you need.
So that's just been a brief glimpse of the add-on world at Xerocon, and really all we can do at an event like this is scratch the surface. It's an incredibly dynamic market because we've got so many new people coming in. It's very competitive. There's some obvious winners like, you know, the award winners we saw, Receipt Bank, Rocket Spark, and the new kid on the block, Crunch Boards. But also, you know, they're not all going to last. The Xero universe is expanding outwards, but there will be some that fall on the wayside. Almost, you know, they'll be like stars. They'll come into being and possibly disappear before you even find them. The thing to do is keep your eye on this market. I certainly will be, and try and track those ones that maybe do fill. You know, if you can define the need you need for your client, you can start finding them. The vendors' marketplaces will give you that information. Everybody says go look at the websites of the add-ons as you discover them and see what they tell you. But again, it's a voyage of discovery, and we'll be carrying on with this at future Xerocons, in future articles, and on the Any Answers and article pages of AccountingWEB. So do join us for that journey.